The Council Star Map Room was always silent. It was a place where every species of the Great Council trusted the stars more than their own armies. The galaxy was predictable. Civilizations followed rules. Travel zones were protected. Borders were respected. But today, that silence broke. Warning sirens screamed across the chamber. Operators looked confused. Screens flickered. Navigation lines glitched. Something unknown had appeared inside Restricted Zone Delta, a zone that no known empire could enter, a zone blocked by sealed wormlocks, a place every species considered impossible to reach by any physical technology. The senior observer Vralen stared at the readings with wide eyes. His hands shook slightly. "This is not possible," he whispered. Other officers stood from their chairs. Some dropped data pads. Some froze and stared like they were in a nightmare they could not wake up from. An object was moving toward Council core space. It moved slow. Very slow. Not like a raider. Not like a black hole event. Not like an anomaly. It moved like it simply did not care who watched. The Council believed only one species ever thought like that. Only one species ever treated danger like a challenge. Only one species ever dared to break the universe rules, humans. But humans were gone, extinct, destroyed, erased from every map 3,000 years ago. "Confirm origin," Vralen demanded. Voice cracking. Scanners kept trying. Every time they tried to identify the object, the scanners overloaded and rebooted. It was as if the object was blocking every sensor by design, not by stealth tech, not by hacking, by pure power. "New scan spectrum result received," one officer said. Voice shaking, everyone leaned closer. The code came through. It was human design language, old, ancient, a format the Council banned, a format that no species alive used anymore. Vralen felt his throat dry. He knew what this meant. He knew what fear really felt like for the first time. The Council fleets had spent thousands of years telling every young species a simple truth. Humanity never returns, and now one single warship proved they were wrong. The object entered deeper into the restricted zone. Its engines did not show any known energy profile. Its hull signature was not understood by any computer, but it broadcast a single, repeating message on every frequency. It did not speak a language. It sent coordinates. Coordinates inside Council Home Star region. It was coming directly for them. Panic spread across military channels. Many fleets demanded authorization to shoot first. Many races begged for immediate evacuation. But no one dared to attack first. They all remembered history lessons. Humans never fired first. But if someone fired at them, they answered with total finality. The chair of the Council appeared via holo. "Do we have visual?" "No, we cannot get visual. The ship blocks all visual scans." The chair stared in silence. Fear was visible even on his highly disciplined face. The chair spoke quietly. "Send one more scan attempt. Highest priority." "I want a direct lock." The scan initiated again. The chamber lights dimmed. Energy surged through the struts of the building. Static pressure filled the air. The warship suddenly revealed itself for 0.7 seconds. A blurry shadow, far larger than any dreadnought ever built by any species. Its hull seemed alive, as if alloys were grown, not forged. Then the visual vanished again. Officers screamed. Some fell to the floor. Some ran out of the room in panic. It was enough. It was real. It was physical, and it was human, Vralen whispered, barely able to speak. Why would humans return now? After 3,000 years? No one answered. The ship continued moving forward, slow, calm, controlled. The chair issued a quiet order. Bring every fleet to defensive position. But do not fire, not yet. We do not know what the humans have become. Across the galaxy, fleets moved into formation. They began surrounding the path silently, like prey surrounding a predator, knowing deep inside that they were not the predator here. All old recordings said one thing clearly: humanity never needed alliances. Humanity never waited for permission. Humanity never feared the Council, and now with one ship, one ancient warship crossing the barrier like the laws of physics did not matter. The galaxy understood something horrifying. Humanity crossed a line today that no one even believed still existed. This was not diplomacy. This was return. This was declaration. No one slept that night in the entire Council star region. Billions stared at news feeds. Billions prayed their species was not first on the list. The ship would reach Council Prime in 71 hours. No one knew what humans looked like now. No one knew what they wanted. But every single species felt the same cold fear in their bones. Humanity was back. And the galaxy was not ready. The Council building was never designed for this level of fear. Every corridor felt heavier. Every guard stood tense. Every species inside the chamber looked like they wanted to escape, but could not admit it. They were trapped by their own authority. They were forced to stand and pretend control still existed, but everyone knew the truth. They had zero control. The ancient human warship was still coming, slow, confident, silent, and silence was far more terrifying than any threat message. Inside the high chamber, political leaders tried to keep their hands steady. The room lights were darker than normal. Holographic displays of the galaxy shifted constantly. Recalculating trajectories and intercept windows, they did not know how to stop something that should not exist. The chair began the emergency session. We must decide our response before the ship reaches core space. A representative from the Vexorian Dominion stood first. We should launch full fleet. We outnumber the lone human vessel by 3,000 to 1. We overwhelm it before it reaches the Council capitals. Many looked at her like she had gone insane. Everyone knew the human reputation. Human history was not about numbers. Human history was about adaptation and escalation. Humans always became stronger the harder the enemy pushed. A scholar from the Lumeri Alliance spoke softly. You do not understand the danger. Humans evolve in crisis conditions. If we engage with maximum force, they will learn from the attack instantly. They will respond with force none of us have ever seen before. Then the chamber became silent again, because every species remembered the old archive lessons. Humanity's technology was not based on predictable linear development. Humans were chaotic innovators. Humans did not scale by slow, careful equilibrium like other species. Humans jumped in leaps, unpredictable, unsafe, impossible leaps. That was why humans were exiled, not because they were evil, because they were uncontrollable. The chair tapped a holoscreen showing the warship's strange movement curve. The ship was not following normal travel physics. It adjusted direction without thruster signature. It bent trajectory gently, as if space itself made way for it. How are they doing this? The chair asked. A research specialist answered, voice shaking. The ship is not using engine propulsion. The ship is using gravity shaping. It is controlling local mass distortion. We have no technology like this. Another representative slammed the table. If one ship can do this, what do their fleets look like now? No one answered, because the idea itself was terror. If one ship was this powerful, the humans might not be just returning for communication. They might be returning because they no longer recognized any council authority at all. The chair gave the next order. We attempt communication again. Signals were sent. White band, narrow band. Direct frequency. Old human language. New hybrid code. Every message returned. With zero response. The ship only sent the same. Coordinates over and over. Coordinates of the Council Prime system. This was intentional psychological pressure. Humans were not rushing. Humans were approaching like hunters walking into a forest, and knowing exactly where the prey was hiding. Even military captains inside the chamber could barely hold their posture. Admiral Siriath stepped forward. We cannot just wait. We must prepare fallback evacuation routes. If this warship attacks the core, we risk total species extinction events. The Council capital could fall in seconds if they use star-crushing technology. The chair nodded slowly. Evacuation protocol remains silent. We cannot show panic to the galaxy, but the galaxy was already panicking. Billions of citizens watched the incoming ship travel updates. Billions sent panic messages to evacuation servers. Some worlds already started moving population toward deep space shelters. The Council design always assumed they would have time to prepare for war. But no time existed now, because no one ever planned for the impossible return of a species that was beyond prediction. A junior analyst ran into the chamber with new results. New scan update. We detected internal structure of the ship for 2 seconds. The holo showed a rough interior cross-section. No command bridge. No organic crew space. No human life signs. The warship was not being piloted from inside. It is automated, the analyst whispered. Gasps filled the room. This changed everything. If this ship was unmanned, then this was not even their main weapon. This might just be their messenger. If this much power existed in just a messenger, what could the real human fleets do? The chair closed his eyes for a moment. He felt a cold realization settle in his chest. They are testing us, he said. They are watching how we react. They are judging if we have changed. Fear transformed into deeper fear. Fear of being judged by a species they once exiled. One representative said quietly, if humanity has evolved beyond crude warships, then maybe they have evolved beyond needing bodies entirely. Another whispered, maybe they became something the universe never wanted to exist. The warship crossed. The next boundary zone. Time to arrival, 64 hours. Every leader in the room felt the same dark truth. This was not a negotiation. This was not a request. This was not a diplomatic greeting. This was humanity returning to collect what the galaxy stole from them long ago, and no species knew how to stop them. The next 24 hours were the longest hours in modern council history. Every news channel spoke only one thing: humanity is returning. Every patrol fleet held position with weapons hot, but hands frozen, and while the galaxy waited, the human warship changed. As it crossed closer toward inhabited council space, the ship began to shed layers of hull plating like peeling armor. Each piece of alloy unfolded outward, not like metal breaking, but like something alive reconfiguring itself. It felt deliberate, slow, controlled, calculated psychological pressure. Inside the observation room, Veralen watched this in pure horror. Why is it changing structure? Someone whispered, because the ship wanted them to see. The shape became more defined, more terrifying. The internal energy field grew brighter and brighter with every passing hour. The ship was not a single physical object anymore. It was becoming a hybrid form between matter and gravitational shaping, almost like the ship existed in multiple states. At once, the Council's top physicists sent warning files. This level of tech is not reachable by any linear scientific paradigm, meaning humanity were no longer just engineers. They had become architects of physical laws. This was evolution through force of will. And then, without warning, the warship finally spoke, not through audio, not through speech, but through every mind inside the council system. A wave of memory hit every observer at once. They saw Earth not destroyed, not burnt, not abandoned. Earth was thriving, beautiful, calm, clean, safe, strong. They saw oceans restored, skies clear, cities built using matter grown, not manufactured, and then a voice, not angry, not emotional, but extremely old and extremely calm. We never went extinct. We left because the galaxy was too young. Every species in the observation room froze. Humanity was never killed. Humanity was never destroyed. Humanity left because the galaxy was not ready for what they were becoming. The warship broadcast more memory fragments. Humans experimenting with consciousness transfer. Humans discovering higher dimensional computation. Humans unlocking ways to measure reality directly through mind space. The Council thought they imprisoned humans for uncontrolled invention, but the truth was reversed. Humanity never needed the galaxy. Humanity grew beyond it. The warship continued. We return now because equilibrium is at risk. You took our absence as safety. You expanded without limit. Your wars poisoned reality. We return to correct the path. This statement shook the Council more than any threat ever could. The humans were not here for revenge. They believed they were here to fix the galaxy. The chair, trembling, tried to respond. If you seek correction, then speak. We can negotiate terms. No answer. Instead, the warship began sending pulse signals to every star in the region. The pulses were harmless, physically, but they identified all energy signatures in the system instantly. Council fleets, civilian populations, mining stations, deep vault archives. Humans knew everything now. Humans knew where. Everyone was hiding. Humanity was mapping them like an adult, assessing children hiding in a room, not as equals. The chamber shook with fear. What did they become? One officer cried out. No one could answer, because this was no longer human in the biological sense. This was humanity after transcending limitation, after treating physics as editable structure, after moving beyond flesh and bone. This was humanity unbound. One more message from the warship appeared. The Council once feared what humanity could build. They never feared what humanity could become. The warship accelerated slightly. Not fast, just enough to show that speed was also meaningless. Time to arrival at Council. Prime, 42 hours. The galaxy now understood something far more terrifying than extinction. Humanity was not returning as a broken survivor. Humanity was returning as the next evolutionary authority, a species beyond fear, species beyond restriction, a species who could shape the future itself. Inside the council hall, one advisor whispered what everyone else silently thought. This is not a warship. This is a warning, and the council realized they might not be allowed to choose their future anymore. Humanity already had. The next 24 hours were the longest hours in modern council history. Every news channel spoke only one thing: humanity is returning. Every patrol fleet held position with weapons hot, but hands frozen, and while the galaxy waited, the human warship changed. As it crossed closer toward inhabited council space, the ship began to shed layers of hull plating like peeling armor. Each piece of alloy unfolded outward, not like metal breaking, but like something alive reconfiguring itself. It felt deliberate, slow, controlled, calculated psychological pressure. Inside the observation room, Varalen watched this in pure horror. Why is it changing structure? Someone whispered, because the ship wanted them to see. The shape became more defined, more terrifying. The internal energy field grew brighter and brighter with every passing hour. The ship was not a single physical object anymore. It was becoming a hybrid form between matter and gravitational shaping, almost like the ship existed in multiple states. At once, the Council's top physicists sent warning files. This level of tech is not reachable by any linear scientific paradigm, meaning humanity were no longer just engineers. They had become architects of physical laws. This was evolution through force of will. And then, without warning, the warship finally spoke, not through audio, not through speech, but through every mind inside the council system. A wave of memory hit every observer at once. They saw Earth, not destroyed, not burnt, not abandoned. Earth was thriving, beautiful, calm, clean, safe, strong. They saw oceans restored, skies clear, cities built using matter grown, not manufactured, and then a voice, not angry, not emotional, but extremely old and extremely calm. We never went extinct. We left because the galaxy was too young. Every species in the observation room froze. Humanity was never killed. Humanity was never destroyed. Humanity left because the galaxy was not ready for what they were becoming. The warship broadcast more memory fragments. Humans experimenting with consciousness transfer. Humans discovering higher dimensional computation. Humans unlocking ways to measure reality directly through mind space. The Council thought they imprisoned humans for uncontrolled invention, but the truth was reversed. Humanity never needed the galaxy. Humanity grew beyond. Yet the warship continued. We return now because equilibrium is at risk. You took our absence as safety. You expanded without limit. Your wars poisoned reality. We return to correct the path. This statement shook the Council more than any threat ever could. The humans were not here for revenge. They believed they were here to fix the galaxy. The chair, trembling, tried to respond. If you seek correction, then speak. We can negotiate terms. No answer. Instead, the warship began sending pulse signals to every star in the region. The pulses were harmless, physically, but they identified all energy signatures in the system instantly. Council fleets, civilian populations, mining stations, deep vault archives. Humans knew everything now. Humans knew where. Everyone was hiding. Humanity was mapping them like an adult, assessing children hiding in a room, not as equals. The chamber shook with fear. What did they become? One officer cried out. No one could answer, because this was no longer human in the biological sense. This was humanity after transcending limitation, after treating physics as editable structure, after moving beyond flesh and bone. This was humanity unbound. One more message from the warship appeared. The Council once feared what humanity could build. They never feared what humanity could become. The warship accelerated slightly. Not fast, just enough to show that speed was also meaningless. Time to arrival at Council. Prime, 42 hours. The galaxy now understood something far more terrifying than extinction. Humanity was not returning as a broken survivor. Humanity was returning as the next evolutionary authority, a species beyond fear, species beyond restriction, a species who could shape the future itself. Inside the council hall, one advisor whispered what everyone else silently thought. This is not a warship. This is a warning. And the council realized they might not be allowed to choose their future anymore. Humanity already had. 42 hours left before arrival. The council finally accepted a truth they feared since the first scan. If humanity was coming, then the galaxy could not just stand still and wait. They needed to attempt contact again. Not because they believed it would work, but because not trying at all was even more dangerous. A special envoy ship was chosen, small, fast, unarmed. The Council wanted to show zero threat, zero aggression, zero provocation. 12 ambassadors from 12 major species volunteered to board it. Not because they were brave, but because they understood refusing this role would make them remembered as cowards in the final days of history. Vralen watched the envoy ship depart from the main docking ring. It looked so tiny, floating in the shadows of thousands of defensive ships now surrounding the capital world. Like a candle trying to stop a supernova, the envoy ship set a direct intercept path with the human warship. Its communication systems stayed fully open, broadcasting constant peaceful declaration. We approach without weapons. We request dialogue. We request understanding. We request explanation. The warship gave no reaction, no aggression, no defense, no reply. The envoy kept closing in. 90 million kilometers. 70 million kilometers. 40 million kilometers. Inside the council observation room, anxiety reached breaking point. Everyone stared at the distance counter on the main screen like they were watching the fuse of a bomb shorten. With every second at 30 million kilometers, the envoy ship sent final message. Request. Human representatives. This galaxy cannot handle uncertainty. Please show intention. That was the moment something happened. Not to the warship, to the envoy. Every system in the envoy ship shut down at the exact same second. Engines, life, support, navigation, communications, lights, everything. Complete. Silence inside the vessel. The ship did not explode. It did not get destroyed. It simply died. The 12 ambassadors sat in darkness, powerless and frozen with terror. Inside the council chamber, alarms slammed across every wall. We lost the envoy. Human vessel did nothing. There was no weapon signature. No impact detected. No one knew how they shut the ship down instantly. Humans simply turned off everything the envoy relied on, as if reality had a switch. Then the warship finally responded, not with words. It broadcast a silent return packet signal, the meaning decoded, automatically into every translation system. We do not negotiate with fear. Fear means you have already chosen conflict. The chair collapsed into his chair. He understood the message. Humans were not talking until the council stopped preparing for battle. They wanted the council to stand down. But the council could not do that. Every species inside the chamber felt the same panic pulse in their chest. If they lowered shields, if they retreated fleets, if they moved back even slightly, they would be defenseless. But if they refused, humans saw that as choosing war. It was a trap with no escape, a set of rules humanity created, rules the council were not allowed to break. The warship then performed one more action. It reactivated the envoy ship. Instantly, everything returned online. Ambassadors alive. Systems fully normal. The envoy ship drifted helplessly back to council defensive perimeter. Nothing damaged. Nothing destroyed. Just one silent message carved into their minds forever. Humanity was making the rules now. This was not a warning shot. This was dominance without violence. This was power that no one understood. Inside the chamber, someone finally whispered the fear that everyone was avoiding. What if this warship is not even their main weapon? What if this is only a scout? No one answered. Hours remained. The warship resumed its calm, slow travel toward Council Prime. Not faster, not slower, like it already decided what will happen next a long time ago, and the galaxy was simply arriving late to a timeline that humanity created. The council did not sleep that night. Billions did not sleep in thousands of star systems. Everyone watched the silent warship approaching, like a black horizon swallowing everything they ever believed was safe. And the worst part was not that humans were returning. The worst part was that humans believed they were right. The countdown continued. 37 hours, 34 hours, 30 hours. The warship kept moving in a straight, cold line toward Council Prime. No change in speed. No return communication. No response to any diplomatic message. Just silence. Silence that felt like judgment. Inside every world under council rule, fear was not hidden anymore. Schools closed. Starport traffic crashed. People stopped working. Markets collapsed. Every species understood that history was ending, or history was beginning again. The council tried one last internal strategy before the final arrival. If humanity was returning to change the galaxy, then someone had to understand what humans now believed. Someone had to try decoding their message beyond words. Someone had to look deeper than fear. So the council called ancient archivists, the ones who studied pre-exile human culture. Old songs, old history, old myths, old behavior patterns. These archivists were not military, not scientists, not ambassadors. They were historians. If humans evolved into a higher civilization, then maybe their motive was not destruction, but correction. Maybe they saw the galaxy falling into chaos and wanted to fix the future before it collapsed. The oldest historian in the chamber, a thin elder named Solon, stared at the hollow image of the warship and spoke quietly. Humans never wanted to rule galaxies. They wanted to prove possibility was infinite. Another scholar whispered, "Then why return now?" Solon answered without hesitation, "Because the galaxy stopped believing in possibility. Everyone chose safety. Everyone chose fear. Humans returned to break this stagnation." Vralen felt something heavy settle in his chest. This was not a predator hunting prey. This was a teacher returning to a classroom full of children who refused to learn. But even if this logic was true, the galaxy still had no idea what would happen next. Then it happened. The human warship transmitted a full spectrum broadcast across every star system at once. Not through radio, not through quantum link, not through network channel. The message reached every conscious mind directly. The message was not threatening. It was terrifying because it was calm. We watched your wars. We watched greed-shaped borders. We watched you build civilizations on fear. We watched you treat survival like victory. This is stagnation. This is failure. This is why we return." The council leaders stared like they were listening to a god speaking from outside existence. The message continued. "We do not return to punish. We return to force evolution again." The entire galaxy froze. This was not war. This was intervention. The council demanded response again. "What do you want? What is your demand?" The warship answered, "One decision, one choice, one path." The coordinates changed. Not a location inside council space anymore, but a location outside the galaxy, deep intergalactic void. Come meet us there. Come without fleets. Come without weapons. Come without fear. This message repeated 3 times across the galaxy. Vrylan felt his heart shaking. This was not an attack mission. This was an invitation, a test. Then the warship added the final line. "Those who refuse this meeting will not be part of the future." Every species in the galaxy felt the same cold impact. Humanity came back not looking for allies, not looking for revenge, not looking for territory. Humans came back to choose who deserved to exist. In the next chapter of civilization, the message was, over. The warship went silent again and continued its path toward council. Prime time to arrival, 24 hours. The debate in the council chamber now turned into pure chaos. Half of them demanded immediate surrender, pull back every fleet, and accept the invitation. The other half demanded final defensive stand. If they show weakness now, humanity might believe the council had no right to exist, but none of these choices felt safe. Both choices could lead to extinction. The chair of the council stood slowly. His hands were trembling. "We will send a small vessel to the coordinates. We will choose 3 representatives. We will go as requested. No weapons." Everyone gasped because this was the most dangerous diplomatic mission in recorded history. If the humans wanted to erase the council, those 3 would be the first to die. But there was no other option. The chair spoke again. "If humanity wants evolution, then we must show we can grow too." The announcement went public. Billions across thousands of star systems began watching this decision unfold like prophecy, because this was the first time in thousands of years. The galaxy was no longer in control of its own future. Humanity was, and the warship just kept moving, like time itself was obeying it, not the other way around. And hours remaining, the council capital world did not sleep anymore. It felt like the entire star system was holding its breath. Every second was heavy. Every passing moment felt like history was rewriting itself in real time. The chair ordered preparation for the diplomatic vessel that would go to the intergalactic void location humans gave. 3 representatives were chosen: Solen the historian, Admiral Siriath, and a neutral scientist named Arius. Each represented a different angle of the galaxy, meaning force and logic, but while preparation for peace was happening in the main chamber, something darker was happening inside the secret military wing. Some council commanders decided they could not trust this peaceful approach. They believed if the council waited for humanity to arrive, they would have 0 chance to fight back. So they prepared one hidden operation, a rogue strike fleet, not meant to destroy the human warship, just meant to delay it, just meant to slow it, to buy time, to force negotiation. 20 stealth cruisers activated invisible jump drives and moved into silent positions, aligning for a surprise assault. They called it a soft intervention. They told themselves they were preventing massacre. They told themselves they were saving the galaxy. But deep inside, they were afraid of losing power, because if humanity rewrote the future, the council no longer mattered. When Vrylan discovered this secret move, he ran into the chair's office. "You must stop them," he said, voice frantic. "If they attack even lightly, humans will consider that hostile intent." The chair looked older than ever, tired, sad, heavy with responsibility. "I gave no order," the chair whispered. "They act out of fear. Fear makes beings irrational. Vrylin slammed the table. Humanity told us clearly, fear means you already chose war. If they attack, even a single shot, there will be no more galaxy to negotiate with. The chair sent emergency recall orders, but the strike fleet ignored them. They believed they were the real protectors of civilization. The rogue fleet moved into position around the warship. They coordinated silently. They aimed signal jammers and mass field disruptors. No weapons, no explosives. Only one forced idea: slow the human ship down. Force it to talk. At Council Observation Hall, Solon whispered, "Humans will not answer to force." They evolved past force, but no one could stop what was already happening. The rogue fleet activated the disruptor field. The effect was immediate. Every stealth cruiser shut down completely, not explosive, not damaged, just dead, floating powerless in empty void. Human ship did nothing visual. No energy spike, no defensive system, no weapon flare. It simply decided they were off, like turning off 12 lights. The message that echoed into every mind who saw it was simple and terrifying. Power is not about destruction. Power is about permission. Vrylin stared at the screens. His heart felt like ice. They did not even break a rule of physics. They just refused to allow those ships to operate. The strike fleet failure caused panic waves across Council space. Some species now demanded immediate surrender. Some demanded immediate evacuation. Some screamed that existence itself was ending. But humanity still did not attack. Humanity still did not threaten. Humanity just kept moving. Time to arrival at Council. Prime 9 hours. Then the warship sent one more small message. A single short phrase. Your choice is almost over. No anger, no hatred. Just inevitability. The chair finally ordered total fleet stand down. All weapons offline. Total defensive silence. Every soldier was forced to back away. Every warship pulled to retreat distance. The capital star system went quiet. The galaxy had never been this silent in all of recorded time. The diplomatic vessel prepared to launch now had full clearance. Solène placed her hand on the hull and whispered to herself, "Humans are not asking for trust. Humans are asking for evolution." Vrylin watched the launch doors open for the first time. He did not feel fear. He felt awe. Because if the humans truly came back to choose future civilizations, then this was the moment where every species would be judged by how they faced uncertainty. The diplomatic ship lifted from the ground. Engines steady, peaceful, hopeful. The human warship was now only hours away, and no one knew if tomorrow would be the rebirth of civilization or the end of it. The diplomatic vessel moved through the void quietly, leaving the council capital behind. Only 3 beings were inside: Solène the historian, Admiral Sirius the soldier, and Arias the scientist. No guns, no weapons, no fleets hiding behind them. The galaxy watched their journey live. Every species, every colony, every world, because this was the moment where everything would be decided. The human warship slowed its approach as the diplomatic vessel reached it. This action alone made every observer in the galaxy realize something massive. Humans were not here to attack. Humans were here for the choice moment. When the 2 ships met in deep, cold space, no explosion happened. No beam fired. No shields crackled, just stillness, a calm field of silent darkness surrounding them. For the first time, humanity spoke directly to these 3 envoys, not the entire galaxy. Do you come as equals? Or do you come as survivors begging for safety? Solène stood at the front and answered, "We do not come with fear. We come to learn what future you want." The response came immediately. The council used fear to control the galaxy. Fear made all civilizations weak. Fear made progress impossible. We return because the galaxy forgot how to grow. Sirius took a breath. What must we do to prove that we are ready to evolve again? There was a long pause. Then one final message reached them. You will choose the next path for all species. If the council returns to peaceful stagnation again, we will remove them. If the council opens the galaxy to infinite frontier, we will stand aside and never interfere again. Arias whispered softly, "So humanity does not want power." The warship answered, "Power is useless. Possibility is everything." Then the universe shook, but not physically. Spiritually, every star in the region flickered at the exact same time. The warship changed shape again, folding into bright dimensional light, shrinking slowly. Like a higher dimensional origami compressing into a concept instead of matter. They were leaving. They were not staying to rule. They came only to give one last demand: change, or be erased next time. Final message was burned into every conscious mind before they left. Do not let fear shape the next era. Build because you choose to grow, not because you choose to survive. And then the warship vanished. On from normal reality, leaving only gravitational echoes behind. The council fleets watched empty. Space in silent disbelief. Humanity had crossed the line into a future beyond matter, and left the galaxy behind with one single responsibility: to evolve. Inside the diplomatic vessel, Solen turned to the others. They never wanted revenge. They came because they feared what we were becoming without them. Sirius nodded slowly. We were not the threat. Stagnation was. Arias stared into the quiet stars. Humans became the proof that possibility has no limit. The diplomatic vessel returned home carrying this truth. When they landed, the galaxy was already different. Worlds reopened their borders. Militaries stood down. Research centers unlocked forbidden fields again. Young minds started dreaming big again, because after this event, every species understood safe comfort was death. Growth was the only real survival. Humanity did not save the galaxy through war. Humanity saved the galaxy by reminding every civilization what they once forgot. Progress is the only path forward, and this became the new law written across every star nation. Never choose fear again, because the day humanity returns a second time, the galaxy will not get another warning.